Happy Friday. Sorry again. I'm not in. Coming to the end of the whole isolation thing, so I'll be back in class on Monday, and we'll pick off where we left off from today. So anyway, it doesn't matter. We're motoring through indices, and we'll keep going and see how far we got. So what I've done Tuesday's homework was that during class and for homework you were working through exercise 23.2, which was the first rule of indices, and I hope you found that okay. And just to show you, I have the solutions out here on the right hand side, so from questions 1 to 10. So you've any of them to finish, and then you can correct them as you go along. I'll go through one or two now, just for the sake of in case any issues around this, and I can go around to you on Monday. And if anyone having any problems, I can go through this rule with you. But they're pretty much the same, so you can kind of do one or two of them. You can do them all, and we go on to the second rule today as well. Okay, so I'll just go through one or two. So we just have a look. These question ones were all about just simplifying the powers. So this one here, if I look at D, for example, so I have, how many 2's have I got? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 2's. So it's going to be 2 to the power of 5. That shouldn't be 25, it should be 2 to the power of 5. Multiplied by how many 3's have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 3 to the power of 6, and you can multiply that into your calculator. Does it ask you to? No, it doesn't. It just says simplify. So 2 to the power of 5 by 3 to the power of 6. If I go down to F, then it's going to be, how many 2's have I got? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 2 to the power of 4. How many 3's have I got? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 3 to the power of 5. How many 5's have I got? 1, 2. And it's going to be by 5 to the power of 2. So I can check my answers then, and if you go over to the right then, it will give you the answer. So that's question 1F, for example, over to 1F, and there you go, 2 to the power of 4, 3 to the power of 5, and 5 to the power of 2. Same way I did it there. Any of these ones here, I'll pick one out of question 2. So you're using the same law, and you're just adding the powers every time. So if you have, say, 2b there, 2b says 8 to the power of 3 multiplied by 8 to the power of 5. So I have 8 to the power of 3 and 8 to the power of 5. So if I add the 3 and the 5 together, it's going to give me 8 to the power of 8. Okay, that's what you're doing for all them one in question 2. And question 3 and question 4 are pretty much the same job. If I get down to question 7 then, when it starts using roots, evaluate the following root 4. So without using a calculator. So remember, anything with a root is to the power of a half. So root 4 is 4 to the power of a half. Root 121 there in part D is 121 to the power of a half. So that's what you're evaluating using powers. Okay. Let me see other ones here. Question 10 then has a couple of it's the same rule again. You're just adding the powers. So it doesn't matter what's in the brackets. You're just adding the powers. As long as it's the same thing in the brackets, we're just adding the powers. So in this one we have minus 7 to the power of 3 and minus 7 to the power of 4. So it looks more complicated, but really we're interested in what's the powers. So our answer is just going to be minus 7, add the 4 and the 3 to the power of 7, like so. So same rule, add the powers, and if it's a square root, you just raise it to the power of a half. Okay, right, let's go down and look at the second law. So the first one, when you're multiplying bases of that are the same, so 3 to the power of something multiplied by 3 to the power of something, you add them. This is the second law of indices. If you're dividing, so if I have something like 3 to the power of 9 divided by 3 to the power of 4. The rule is, look on the right there in the green box, you take away the powers. So I have my two powers in this case are a 9 and a 4. So what I'm going to do, my answer is I'm going to take 9 minus 4, which is 5. So my answer is going to be 3 to the power of 5. So the first law, if you're multiplying, you're going to add the powers. If you're dividing, you take away the powers. So look at a couple of examples I put in for you here out of the textbook. So if I have 8 to the power of 6 and 8 to the power of 2, I'm going to have 6 minus 2, which, have a look down, gives you 8 to the power of 4. And you know the way they're written like that with the division sign in the middle. So division sign here in the middle. The other way to do it is to put them over each other. So 4 to the power of 12 divided by 4 to the power of 3. 12 minus 3, 9. So if you have two things, so if we look at we take the first law and the second law together. We say 8 to the power of 7 multiplied by 8 to the power of 2. Because there's a multiply in the middle there, we're going to add the powers. That's Indices rule 1, which is going to give us 8 to the power of 9. And the one we're working on today is, we'll do this other one, 8 to the power of 7 divided by 8 to the power of 2 is equal to 8 to the power of 5. So I'm taking away the powers in rule number 2. If, as I said, you can do it two ways. You can write it two ways. 8 to the power of 7, again, divided by 8 to the power of 2, which is 8 to the power of 5. So you're always interested in what's in the middle. Is it multiplying or is it dividing? And that'll tell you what to do. One more example, then, just more complicated. If they give you minus signs, it doesn't make any difference. You're only interested in the powers. So you're interested in, so obviously they're given the two minus signs here. Minus 4 to the power of 5 and minus 4 to the power of 3. Well, you know, if it's division, it's rule 2. So you're going to take away minus 4 to the power of 5, minus 4 to the power of 3. So it's 5 minus 3, which gives you minus 4 to the power of 2. And you can chuck that straight into your calculator to give you 16. But you know that anything, whatever's in the brackets, raised to the power is just by itself. So if I would say, if that was minus 8 to the power of 2, that would just be minus 8 multiplied by minus 8. 8 by 8 is 64, but because we have a minus by a minus, it's going to be a plus 64. And that's what you see in the example here. You have minus 4 squared, which gives you minus 4 by minus 4, which gives you plus 16 in the end. One more example on the right there, you'll see it. Minus 5 to the power of 6 divided by minus 5 to the power of 3. So here's our two signs you're interested in, the 6 and the 3. When you take 3 away from 6, it gives you minus 5 to the power of 3. So what does that mean? Well, it means minus 5 3 times. Minus 5 multiplied by minus 5 multiplied by minus 5. And minus 5 multiplied by minus 5 gives you plus 25. And plus 25 multiplied by minus 5 again gives you minus 125. And again, you can use your calculator to work that out straight away. Okay, that's the only thing we're interested in today. It's rule number 2. It's working with division. And I know you'll all work at different paces. And some people will fly through them and some people will take a little bit of time to have another read over those notes in the OneNote, or you may want to watch the video again to see the explanation again. It's up to yourself. So what I'm going to ask you to do for about 10 minutes, the teacher might pause the video, and what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the homework questions, go out to the solutions and correct last night's homework. So you had questions 1 to 10. You might even need a bit of time to finish those questions before you can correct them. So get those corrected for the first rule of indices, the adding the powers. And then go down to what we were working on today, the second rule of indices, and do the takeaway. And all of these ones, there's an example like them up in those worked examples that we just went through. And what I've put out here is your work for today, Friday's classwork. So after you've finished correcting the homework and you've watched this video and you've figured out how to do the division ones, taking away the powers, you're going to do as many questions as you can in the class period. And as always, because it's the weekend, you won't have homework, and we will go from here on Monday. So on Monday, we'll finish off this exercise. We'll have a quick revision over rule 1 because I wasn't there to check your work and make sure everyone's understanding. And we'll move on hopefully then to indices law number 3 on Monday. Okay, have a great weekend, everyone, and I will see you back in class on Monday.